Hey, beautiful soul, sending you love and blessings today. Is Sunday afternoon, and I'm chilling outside, hanging out with my friends, the trees, the plants, the grass, and the elements. Um, was thinking and had some thoughts that I was like, maybe I should just jump on here and share um, as a activation, more of an activation onto this new path and in this new cycle, get me more comfortable taking these forward strides and all of that stuff. But this thought of the quote, or I don't even know if it's a quote. I don't even know. I've just heard it throughout my life in the last. Oh my gosh, why I say throughout my life? I just heard it in the last couple of years. What's rejected now will be trending later on, which is so true to my journey and my story. Um, I was thinking about that today and how that plays into me not believing in myself and trusting myself um, because of the theme of rejection or being fearful of rejection, and even that being a shadow, a wound, a deep wound for me um, throughout my life. That was one of the things that I've had to work through in healing myself and my inner child and all of that. Was that theme of rejection. And because my inner world is so vastly different from the global majority, and because I've had such huge visions and huge dreams and huge imagination, and when I expressed them in times with certain people in my family, or when I was just in my element and being myself, I got shut down and rejected. As a kid, I was very eccentric, also very bossy, also very imaginative and creative. But I just had my experiences in life is what shaped um, throughout I should stick to that time frame. But my experiences as a child was very real and vivid to me. So it shaped my beliefs and who I am and who I've grown into. Um, but back then, you know, when you express yourself, your like true self, and allow yourself to just be, it kind of turns people off. And so that was like, for me, that was what I experienced, was like this huge, like when I wanted to be imaginative and playful and, talk to trees and collect rocks and um, do all those things, like I loved nature. So I loved, you know, talking to the animals, the bees, the collecting worms and giving them a home to live in, which of course killed the bees because I was collecting them in uh, pop bottles, and I would put grass in there and try to make a little home for them. And then I would take they would be on the red clover flowers, or the clover flowers, and I would just have this perfect timing system down where I would just take it and kind of like put it over it. I was like so cold at bee catching. Like I don't need just my coordination was out of this world. But I would catch them and then bottle them up, and then of course, due to suffocation, they would die. So, but that was me experimenting. Like I loved being outside and exploring. I was always on my own, always alone, riding through neighborhoods, just really having a good old time by myself in my own world. And so, like, when I would bring my world home, uh, my mom would be so just like disgusted, or like it was just like a shutdown, kind of like shut off your, kind of like you're like, oh, this is so great, and then you come, you're like, you get reprimanded for it, or you get like, ew, like disgusting things that kind of imprints in your subconscious mind, or imprinted in my subconscious mind, that that wasn't a good thing to be doing. And so, as I continued to, I would have bouts of like being myself, and then like this consistent pattern of like being shut down, throughout my life. That was a huge theme. And so, of course, I on this, took on other people's beliefs, took on other people's values, took on other people's um, definition of life and meaning of life, and what it should be, what it should look like, and all of that. And really repressed and suppressed my own soul, my own joy, my own life, because I didn't have anyone in my world reflecting to me um, what I felt on the inside, what I believed about the world, what meaning everything had to me. I even like, I was so eccentric. Like my grandmother had a unicorn statue. It was like, yeah, it was literally, it was a bronze unicorn statue, and that was literally my friend. Like I talked to that statue all the time, and it was like, I felt life in it, and just like with everything, I felt life in every single thing, that things that didn't even necessarily have life in it, I created a life for it. And so, you know, when you don't have anyone around you, and I'm not even, and my spiritual experiences were beyond out of this world too. So, but that's a whole other topic. But when you don't have anyone around you talking about these things or reflecting your reality to you, which was the case for me, I learned how to blend in and try to fit in and be normal, and or normal, and learn how to kind of shut myself down. And I that was like the worst thing that I could have ever did in my life. But you don't know that as a child, but it definitely was the worst thing that I could have done, because it hindered my soul expression. It hindered my voice. It hindered my my progress, in my soul's journey. It stunted my growth, in a way, in a sense, where it started to lead to this tunnel funnel of secrecy. And the theme of the closet, like hiding in the closet a lot, became very, very prominent and real in my life, in hiding aspects of myself. And so, um, so that's that. So tying that back into like what's rejected, becomes trending. Is like I've always been ahead of my time. I've always been ahead in my ideals and visions. And so, especially when I started in middle school and started to form my own identity and whatnot. Um, I in fifth grade, I wanted to, because my hair was, when we were kids, little girls, black girls especially, we used to get our hair pressed and all of that stuff. And I was always getting my hair done. My mom would take me to the shop, and I would get my hair done every consistently anyway. And so I wanted a perm. I wanted, because my hair was thick, it was long, and my mom doing my hair, yeah, it was a struggle. And so not that she didn't do it cute, but she was heavy-handed and I was tender-headed. And to get through all this, as you can see, like my hair was way thicker than this growing up and kinky, and I was tired of it, and I wanted my hair to be like my friend. I had a friend who had gorgeous hair, you know, because it that was what was deemed as beautiful hair um, back then. And so, or the standard of beauty, I should say. And so my mom had a relaxer, even though she didn't need it, but she had a relaxer. Everybody around me had relaxers. And so one of my friends who had this beautiful, gorgeous long hair had, um, I wanted hair like hers. I wanted my hair to be sh- like straight and lengthened and not like I don't have to get braids all the time and all this stuff. I grew up with getting braids and really intricate braids. This is another story. My grandmother used to slay some tiny braids, but African style braids. And I would get my hair braided all the time, and I wanted to be like the standard. I wanted to be what like everybody else, because right, that's cool, like that's what will get me more, for people to like me more, right, for people to notice me more, because at this point I was more repressed and there was a whole cascade of events that had happened in my childhood, which this is why my channel is here, because this is me, my journey into expressing my truths and sharing the journey and putting it into a form. But so I'll get to all of that. But trying to stay focused, because I can get sidetracked and go down rabbit holes of different stories. So I'm doing pretty good right now. But my so I wanted a perm, and my mom was like, no. But then I was like, but she, my friend, got a perm, and she really admired my friend and wanted me to actually be more like my friend, which a whole, which is a whole other topic. But in that way, so I use that as a way to, okay, well, if she has a perm, then so let me get a perm because she has a perm. It's okay. So my mom was like, of course, okay. So I got a perm and then realized that it was not what I really wanted. Like, that's not what I wanted. I noticed it didn't work for me, right? It was my hair thinned a lot, fell out, had to get it cut. It was not good for me. So I'm like, forget this. I want my hair back. And there was a whole journey around that about me. Like, I just want to be like, that was the first time I actually noticed. And maybe because of the age and coming into your identity, becoming a teenager, it's like, I just want to be me, like that is what I wanted. Right. And so I decided to grow my perm out, and I did, and I stopped getting a relaxer in um, 8th grade was my last relaxer. And so then I'm moving into high school. So I get into, and I'm so happy, like I want my hair to be natural and all of this whatnot. So I start, wearing my hair how I want to wear it. Sometimes I would like just blow dry it and let it be like out like this. Like, I love my hair like this. I love it when it's wild. Like, I've always felt so much more confident when my hair is just loose and just taking its own journey. And so fast forwarding to high school, I didn't so hey, what am I talking about? So I got a boyfriend and was wearing my hair more natural, like how I liked it. And sometimes I would just get it flat ironed. And when I didn't get it flat ironed, I would just be, because I danced, I was on, I was a dancer and cheerleader, and so I would sweat a lot. We had to work out, so my hair would shrivel up, like it wouldn't stay. And so when my hair would shrivel up, like I loved it, but then I would get like rejected again and made to feel like that wasn't beautiful, by the people in my world. Like, what's wrong with your hair? Like, you going out looking like that? Oh, uh, Tracy, why you got her going out here looking like that? Or just like, what are you doing to your hair? Why is it? I mean, or like, what was the main thing? Like, when are you gonna do your hair? And I'm like, my hair is done, and it was just like this total like, ugh. So then I just like started wearing my hair in braids all the time. And so that was like another shutdown to my to who I was, and was like, okay, and having to reshape myself, readjust, and kind of shut myself down and what I wanted down. And then we move into me like on the more, in another tone, the more spiritual side. So when I was younger, like I said, I collect rocks. I was loved being the elements. I like had a Nike box full of just rocks that I thought were powerful, like that I thought had, you know, were they were everything to me. I put them under my bed, all of that. I even had dream catchers that my grandmother, I believe, I asked my grandmother, my bonus grandmother, so I don't know, titles, whatever, she's my grandmother. Um, I think she made them for me. I don't know how. I had three dream catchers in my room, and those things like that were considered mystical and esoteric and spiritual tools. Like, I had those things. Like, I love those things. Like, I used to get mood rings all the time, and like all about, like, I loved the astrology signs. Like, I would have like shirts that said Virgo. I loved going into gifts. There was a store called Gifts from Afar in the mall, and I just loved going there. Loved being on Hawthorne. I had friends growing up whose mother is an artist, and who was totally, draped in just like all of, just reminded me of just like otherworldly, just otherworldly beauty. And I was always attracted to other countries and all of that. Anyway, so, and my grandmother also had a lot of statues and figures in her home, and like gemstones and all of that. And so I was always very tuned in. Like, that felt like home to me. And I felt it was very real. Like, I attached them to, um, like, didn't have the language for it at all, but it was very magical to me, very protective to me. Like, I felt safe. So, I, along as I got older, I started to really open up to that more, and had this, and due to my spiritual experiences, like, because it wasn't in my immediate environment, which was totally contrast to what was happening in my inner world, and in different people that I was attracted to, um, and seeing and vibed with. My inner immediate world was not reflective of that, open to that, and so it made me shut down. And I grew up like, I wasn't there was we weren't like a religious family, but like any ba- not basic but regular, I'm not using the right words, but normal black family or your average black family who, just goes off of religion because that's what they were passed, what was passed down to them. Like, don't know really nothing about it. Like, don't even know the principles or use the principles of the Bible at all, but just that's just what is in them and what they know and what they're comfortable with, and it keeps them alive and safe and thriving. And but we were not like every Sunday go to church, all of that. We were just that was just what it was. But I had my other grandmother was into her religion, and that was also an imprint on me. Um, but so I've had these different imprints on my um, my being, and so of course, my inner world, what I was attracted to was condemned and not um, acceptable, you know, demonized, So of course, it made me go more within and kind of like hide that aspect of myself because I can't express to anyone. Nobody can, delight in this joy that I'm experiencing with this rock right here. At the time, it was literally rocks. It was not gemstones and crystals. So I'm not calling stones and crystals rocks because that's a that's a crime, literally. They were actual rocks that I would pick up from the street, but they were magical to me. Um, so this theme, getting back to what I'm saying, of rejection, you know, of me being myself, my thoughts, my visions, my beliefs, so huge. My beliefs and values is was always suppressed who I naturally was, and who I naturally am, and had to reconnect with in these last 10 years of my life. Um, they they were rejected, and so but now, um, who I am is being reflected and played out in the global population and society and mainstream now. And so a lot of these things are trending, right? So a lot of, like, about natural hair, trending, you know, being in tune with nature, trending, being spiritual, trending, being into gemstones and crystals, trending, um, going back to your roots and connecting with your lineage, trending, like all these values that I wanted, like that I knew, um, are now a thing. And so it's taken me a while to really trust and be in my own element and be myself because of I had to clear that wound of not being myself, but what I'm seeing, in my reality over these last 3 years especially has given me so much confirmation and has given me so much freedom to free myself and really be myself. And that has been my whole theme for the last 3 years, is free myself and be myself. And I've gone on this whole exploration, journey and experimentation and all of that, to arrive at this point that I'm at right now. And there's a whole lot that goes into this, um, that plays into this, which is why it's like time for me to start, you know, getting it out and really start aligning with this, because this part of my mission. It's part of my purpose. Um, but a lot of the um, and a lot of the experiences that I've had recently has really like blew the lid off of, you know, blew the lid off of everything for me to connect the dots and see, you know, what what I was being led through and the whys behind everything, because I'm a big why person, and you know, all of that. And so it's very interesting because my beliefs, I'm trying to like not go into a whole other topic, because the beliefs thing is super super important in my journey, and that's what it's about. It's like me believing in myself and me trusting myself and me aligning with my beliefs and my truth. And these last 3 years have taken me, it's been more than 3 years, but these 3 years have been so significant in my journey into tearing me down and rebuilding me so that I can align with who I was as a child, um, who I came here being. And there's so many other ways in which I was rejected throughout my life too, but I was just trying to pick out the main points so that I can stay on topic, because like I said, I will get off into another story loop and I need to learn how to focus, especially when I'm doing videos, because doing videos makes me nervous. Still, like it makes me nervous. It's weird talking to this and not a person, because I'm a people person and I love to be in person with people. And so for me, this is just weird, but it's something that I have to get through, and I've been doing that. And so when I started getting comfortable last year and finally started to do videos and be like, okay, I'm doing it, then I got pulled back within to do more learning, more healing, and more work. And I'm gonna explain that too. But yeah, aligning with my beliefs because of this theme of what's rejected now, I mean, yeah, what's rejected now becomes trending later, is so telling to my journey and my story. And so that is the one thing that keeps me doing this, because there was a point where my ego had took over and I was like, why isn't anybody responding? How come I'm not getting likes? How come, and focusing on the wrong aspects of my journey, like going more into my shadow side, and really my ego was in the way. Like, why is this? And just, you know, de- distracting myself from what it is that I'm here for, and it's to express and share my story, because that's the point. And it's not about, you know, who sees it. It's about putting it out there and knowing who I'm doing it for, you know, knowing who I'm doing this for. It's not about who sees it, right? So I had to, that's why I got pulled back in, and had that major ego death and breakthrough, because it's not about comparing myself. It's not about any of that. And I remember loud and clear when I had that that breakthrough and the ego death in that whole period in the beginning of last year, was the loud and clear was, who are you doing this for? And so when I identified that and then had to start aligning with that, and that took time for me. It took time for me to do that. That's when it became more clear, like, okay. And I had to really truly embody that, because I can't fake nothing. I can't fake nothing. So it took me that long for me to embody the truth of why I'm doing this. I put, kind of stepped out, and when I noticed, like, is my ego at play, or is it my truth at play? Is it the real me at play? I had to really sit with that for a while and discern, and I told myself I'm not coming back on here until I am my truest self. I don't want to lead with my ego, and the ego is so tricky. It can trick you so good, and if it's not healed all the way. So obviously I was not healed all the way, and that's what I want. Like, I'm Virgo, I'm reaching for wholeness, perfection, like, I in myself, purity within myself. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to sit with it until I get it, until it becomes me. And that takes time for me. That took time for me. And so this is why, part of the reason why I have disappeared a few times and come back. And so um, I'm very proud of myself. I love growth. I love it. I love maturity. Being, I love being spiritually mature. And at this point in time, like I said, I truly, genuinely don't give a flying F about who sees it, because I was attached to the who. Who is listening to me? Who is, you know, um, and knowing the real who, you know, who I'm doing this for. Maybe I said that wrong. Yeah, the why. I'm sorry. The why, attached to the why. Why isn't nobody? Why not? Why, but now I'm concerned more about who this is for, and I know who this is for. So I've had to align with that over this year. Um, so yeah. Huh. Um, let's see. Well, I was gonna say something and I totally forgot. Dang. See, it was important. Anyway, um, dang, that makes me so upset when I can't think. Uh, shoot. Anyway, so the theme of what's trending now, I mean, what's rejected now is trending later, is what keeps me going. Oh, that's what it was. Because my beliefs. I hid myself so much because of my beliefs, which I've learned about, and my whole belief system being restructured, retorn down, all of that, so that I could align with the beliefs that I came in here with. I came into this place, this earth, Mama Earth, very aware, very awakened, so I've been aware and awakened for a very long time, but suppressed, you know, my beliefs and ways, because my beliefs didn't align with the mainstream beliefs and my environment's beliefs. So, and I took on other people's beliefs and values. And so, which pulled me away from my center, which pulled me away more into my shadow, which made me have to have so many chaotic experiences in my life, so that I can learn that to trust myself, to be myself, to believe in myself, to value myself. And this whole journey of what that looks like and how that is and how it works and all of that. And so um, my beliefs are so far out there, are so beyond this, that I can see over this last year, I can see why I hid myself, because I'm just so very different from what I grew up with, very different. And it's okay. I've learned to love myself. I've learned to trust myself. I've learned to embrace myself. It's okay, because we all have different beliefs, everybody believing in one thing is actually not the popular thing. It's actually not meant to be, because we're all so unique and we all have a different imprint and we all have a different blueprint. We all have different DNA that has that is that we brought here for a reason. We are see, I want to go into some other stuff so bad, but I'm saving it. But I love who I am now. I love my truth. This is why I feel the joy that I felt when I was a kid. And I've been feeling joy since last year after that ego death, especially around September last year is when I was just like, oh my God, I've never felt this much love. In that video I even posted, when I was posted about the ego death, I said, my heart has never vibrated this much before in my entire life. And it's the truth. Like I feel like I felt like I'm a kid because I love my truth. I love my truth. I love my values. I love my beliefs. I love everything about it. And I'm confirmed a lot because I'm not alone. There's a lot of other people who believe the same things as me. And I thought that, and it was a lie that nobody did, right? So I was being tricked and, you know, and so I'm so convicted in my truth, so rooted in my truth, because I'm not the only ones. It's not that far out there. I'll tell you that. It ain't that far out there because there's a whole army of people who believe the same thing as me. And value the same things as me. So I feel good about that and I love that and I love it. And so this journey back to myself is what my life has been, and trusting that anything that I say, anything that I do, it may be unpopular. My choices that I made in life have always been unpopular. Always. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot to mention about homeschooling, giving birth at home, all these things that I value, the way that I chose to eat when I learned about nutrition, when I learned about what was going on with the food and everything and changing my eating style, like all of that. I was way ahead of when it became popular. And so I'm so like, that helps me when I look back on my story. It helps me to really trust myself even more. Like, man, just do you, be you. Don't worry about what if you will be rejected, like who cares? Because whatever I say, guess what? 10 years from now, 5 years from now, because it's speeding up, time is speeding up. Shit, even next year, things are, what I say is going to be like, period. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be trending. It's going to be something. We are like this. People who are like me, we are like this for a reason. We are. And I know that reason. Well, I know my reason. I know my why. I discovered why, and I got to the truth of me. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people to remember who they are. Remember your why. Remember, you know, your beauty and why. It's like there's nothing more beautiful than your truth, period. I've had to learn it. I've had to really align with that. Everything, sexuality, like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that. Mm, mm, mm. I'm so excited, you know, and the work that I've had to do to get to this. It's a real. It's a real. It's so real. Mm, gets me excited. Anyway, hopefully you made it to this long, because I'll be making long videos, but I'm happy. Um, yeah. So that is what I wanted to share, I guess, for this video. It's another way of me bringing out. I done opened up my throat chakra and healed my throat chakra and all my other chakras I've been working on, very intently, so intently, so that I can align them to work harmoniously together, and really been doing that work to do it. And I am happy to share, can't wait to share that and all the things that I'm creating and how this is all going to come together. I'm so excited. So Yay. Thank you for watching this long. I love you. Sending you so much love, so much peace, so many blessings. Enjoy your day. See you soon. Talk to you soon. Peace.